All right, peace and love, beautiful souls. High vibrations to you all. We are here tonight, gathered under this full moon energy. Let me turn the phone sideways because I'm gonna be posting this on YouTube. But we are here under this full moon energy, and I wanted to, give us a kickoff, of course, in normal fashion. Y'all know I'm always doing a workshop around the moon, the new or the full moon, right? And it's just so beautiful to me that this is a super moon, and it being in Cancer. And like I was saying before, this is like where water meets fire, right? So that fire horse energy of the 1 year, in the Chinese astrology, and right, that fire energy that can be feeling like everybody feel like we gonna be on go. Even the energy of the 10 year, basically when you deal with the one and the zero, which is like basically gonna bring in the polarity of zero and one, right? New beginnings, right? And a lot of us are starting over in a lot of areas, or wanting to explore different more areas in our life. It's a natural thing for us to be feeling those. We've been witnessing a lot of these shifts that has been going on, not only within humanity, but within our own lives, within our own consciousness, and within our own levels of awareness. So it's a beautiful time to be alive. It can be a challenging time for a lot of people, especially for those who are kind of just starting this journey of going within. A lot of us have already began this journey. That's why a lot of y'all are still rocking with me, and I appreciate y'all for your time, your energy, your support. That's why I sent a lot of y'all the link, regardless of whether you purchased the workshop or not. I did, but it was kind of a last minute thing, so I don't know if everybody got a chance to book it or even see it. So I thought about a few people. So if I did send you the link, I just appreciate you, and I want to show some appreciation to you all. But it's not a coincidence to me that the water energy that we went through last year, and the aspects of the eclipses that we experienced, even dealing with the polarity of Aries and Libra, right? And also how the emotional body, women, right? How women begin to be the forefront of a lot of things, and the awakening of the divine feminine. We talked about the Kali Ma energy a couple of years. Y'all notice ain't nobody been talking about that energy no more, right? The dark feminine, and so that energy is kind of awakened now, but people don't understand that the darkest side of the feminine energy is one of the most nurturing, one of the most, I would say, encompassing sides, because you're dealing with the matriarch, you're dealing with the mother, the big mama energy. This is Capricorn in its ancient times. Capricorn was known as the big mama, right? But now people see it as a masculine principle, and father time. Man, the only way you know time is because you have a body. And just like y'all heard me say all the time, if it wasn't for the cycles of the moon and the cycles of the planets, we would not know life on this planet, right? The menstrual cycles of the woman and the cycles of the moon. My bad, we would not know life on this planet. So when we're talking about these cycles and how we have to live within this body is filled with memory. This is why cancer deals with the mitochondrial DNA. And then when you deal with Capricorn, the structure of your skeletal system and how you had to develop bones. You didn't come in your mama's womb with bones. We were brittle, we were little balls of meat, you know what I'm saying? And then you begin to form a face. And so these are the zodiacs that begin to work on us, and how memory is already in the seed of life, right? And the seed is like what both of our parents carry, and within that seed holds a memory. So we don't create life, we sustain it, right? Just like our bodies are sustaining life, right? Just like our whole experience within this thing is about being at home in the body. Very indicative of cancer's nurturing aspect and dealing with the mother aspect of the generations of your life. So now you understanding the generational aspects of what I'm going to speak on tonight, and how this initiation into this body, right? From all the changes, all the things we've experienced over the last 10 years. This is now an initiation for us to be more at home in this body. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start my screen sharing and get into this PDF. All right. And if y'all didn't get the PDF, make sure you let me know. Um, that way I get it to you, because I know some of y'all, I got y'all in pretty late there. All right. Uh, can everybody see my screen? Can y'all see my screen? Can y'all still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, big. Thank you, Tony. All right, now this full wolf moon. Hold on, right quick. I don't know who this is. All right, here. Now this full wolf moon in Cancer is definitely going to be a powerful one. And as we can see, this moon will be happening tomorrow night. All right. So this lunation is not gentle, right? It's instinctual. All right. This awakens memory that lives in the body, not the mind. So at the first full moon in 2026, the Cancer moon sets the emotional and nervous system tone for the entire year, reveals what must be protected, felt, and claimed, right? Before momentum accelerates under the fire horse. So we got to embody this before we get that movement of the fire horse coming into play. All right. Now, why it's called the wolf moon is because this is one of the names of the oldest moons. All right. Like this is rooted in northern dealing with Bulgarian and even indigenous traditions when it comes to because historically January was the coldest, leaniest month. All right, food was scarce. You get what I'm saying? So wolves are heard howling, right, in their villages. Now imagine that, right? And not from aggression, but hunger, communication, right, and pack survival. A lot of time people don't understand why the wolves howl. They do it for survival, right? They when one is calling out for hunger or whatever the case may be, right? The leader of the pack could be signaling food is over here. So it's a form of communication for the wolves. Now, the wolf represents instinct, loyalty, emotional intelligence, ancestral memory, the ability to endure harsh conditions without losing cohesion, right? So, the wolf moon is not about fear, it's about remembering how to stay alive together, right? As the pack. You get what I'm saying? So, the council moon's home and the body's memory. Now, Cancer is ruled by the moon itself. This means that the full moon is like this motherfucker is potent. Okay, it's doubtably potent. Like when you know Cancer governs the womb, the stomach, the gut, the breast, the chest, the emotional memory. You get what I'm saying? Like it literally governs the parasympathetic nervous system. So the ancestral and the maternal lineage, right? So under this moon, the body speaks first, right? You may notice a lot of heightened emotional sensitivity with this. A lot of empaths gonna be so-called feeling it a lot more, but you got to learn to observe and not absorb. All right, Cancer want to be a mirror. So the vivid dreams, the digestive instinct, the digestive shifts. I meant to say, a desire to nest, like to just chill or relax, or even enhance your home, or you could be spending a lot of time in the kitchen right now. All right, all that could be happening. Now, even the different the withdrawal or even to protect, right? That's that council want to go in the shell. You get what I'm saying? So with this energy, even dealing with waves of nostalgia or grief, like an emotional roller coaster down there, it's not a regression, it's an integration, all right? Because this full moon deeply activates the vagus nerve, right? Now, this is like the primary regulatory or the safety, rest, and emotional regulation. This Cancer moon affects, it pulls energy inward, right? It slows cortisol, it heightens oxytocin. It's going to increase somatic awareness, right, on the body, right? This fascia and all this good stuff, okay? Now, if emotions surface unexpectedly, it's because the body is releasing stored emotional data, not because something is wrong. Okay, so don't, I know we can misinterpret that and start feeling like something is wrong, right? Even dealing with people in their immune systems right now. So you got to support the body with warm foods, hydration, some abdominal breathing, making sure you deep breathing, right? Gentle pressure to the chest or the belly. Even if you got to press up in there a little bit, press your stomach, press your chest, right? Time away from outside stimulation. Okay, it's like the fire horse meets water, right? And the fire horse in Chinese astrology is fast, it's bold, it's catalytic, right? It's uncompromising, right? It's revolutionary. The fire horse energy burns through hesitation. All right, the Cancer Wolf Moon, right, acts as a counterbalance, right? Feel before you run. You get what I'm saying? Like anybody ever dealt with horses? and you got to get a feel for that horse before you actually know what it's gonna do, and how you ever even seen, even if you never really rode a horse, or even if you seen movies and how horses perform different with people that they like, they feel good when you have a connection with a horse, with any animal, but mainly with a horse will remember you, right? And horses perform different depends on who's riding it. All right, so root before you leap, right? Make sure you got a foundation before you take a leap. A lot of us could be feeling like that dreamy energy of that Pisces North Node to have you want to take a leap, but it's like this grounded energy could be like, wait a minute, I gotta make sure this feels right for me. All right, so get rooted in it before you actually make a leap forward. Protect what matters before the momentum takes over. Okay, like before, because once this momentum take over, it might cause you to burn away some shit that really mattered to you. Okay. Now, the moon ensures that action in 2026 is emotionally aligned, not reactive. Right? The Cancer Capricorn axis is the axis of human life cycles, right? When you're talking about Cancer and Capricorn, they form one of the most important axes in astrology. This is the axis of survival, courage, civilization. You get what I'm saying? So your fourth and your 10th house. Now, Cancer represents birth. It represents mother, home, emotional safety, the inner child. It represents the past. Okay. Capricorn represents maturity, responsibility, structure, authority, legacy, the future. Okay. Don't let people start get you in your head about Cancer just bring restrictions. No, it don't. This just says Capricorn or Saturn just brings restriction. No, it don't. Because when you look at this axis, this is like together they describe the human life arc, right? We are born needing curve, Cancer. I really want y'all to walk with me on this, okay? We're born needing curve, Cancer, and then we mature into responsibility, Capricorn. If y'all put in that check, if you never even thought about looking at Capricorn and Cancer this way, right? I really want to read structure how we look at Capricorn and Cancer, because these axes, the feeling of Cancer and the coldness of Capricorn, both of these things are surface when it comes to these energies. All right. Now, in human evolution, this axis mirrors tribe and civilization. Think about it, right? Your family, your tribe, and then how you gotta go out here and assimilate. This is why I tell people, if you don't heal those wounds with your mama, your sister, your dad, and your family, cousins, and all of that shit, right? Eventually they play out when you get off into civilization and start interacting with other people. So family into society, emotion into structure. So when imbalanced, too much Cancer, emotional dependency for clinging. See, this is what Cancer's got to learn and go through, right? These are the cycles of what Cancer rising, Cancer sun or moons. All right. Too much Cancer, all right, is like emotional dependency, fear and clinging. Too much Capricorn, emotional repression, burnout, isolation. See, the wolf moon as, where have you outgrown emotional patterns that once kept you safe? Right? Where must you reclaim softness without losing strength? So globally, this moon highlights the housing and displacement issues. All right, the food security. Now we've been watching a lot of homelessness and all that type of shit, right? So remember, this gonna highlight that. So it's gonna have to come in a combination. So a lot of people who've been experiencing this, and I'll talk about the 6 month axis, because once we get off into what Cancer season, we'll have a Capricorn full moon. So you can get your next 6 months of your life together, right? By activating this full moon. Now, this is what I'm giving people off in the transit breakdown. The people who did it was on the couple people who got the transit breakdown. So if you want to get the $99 transit breakdown, which talk about what Cancer and Capricorn are doing in your birth chart, make sure you get it and get it booked tonight. That way I can have it to you by tomorrow, and you can have the ritual and all that with the journal prompts and all that for you tomorrow. All right. That's for those of you who are interested in getting a $99 transit breakdown. Now, the public demand more for cure, not control. Collectively, humanity is renegotiating what safety really means, how safety protects or fail people, how cure can exist within structure. All right. Like sometimes, even now when you're talking about the work environment, Capricorn shit, right? Some of the best companies are more like a family environment. Any of y'all ever worked for seeing the polarity of working for like a straight structured corporate company and then going to a company that was ran by somebody that you can actually talk to, and all that good stuff. It became more like a family environment. You get what I'm saying? So this is more when we're dealing with the moon does not demand answers, it demands a felt truth, right? Because you gotta feel it in order for it to be real. Otherwise, the shit just exists in your head, right? So the personal life themes under this wolf moon is, on the individual level, this moon illuminates your relationships to home, your emotional boundaries, your attachment patterns, how you self-soothe. It also represents what you need in order to feel safe moving forward. So don't deny yourself of these things. This moon is going to remind you that these things need some attention. All right. If these areas are coming up in your life, this is why. So this could be carrying on for the next 6 months. This ain't just about the full moon over the next 3 days. You could still be experiencing this energy and it give you time over the next 6 months to kind of deal with it. All right. So it reveals where you've been strong at the expense of feeling and where feeling is now required for your growth. Okay. So the wolf, as a guide, the wolf does not abandon the pack. The wolf does not numb hunger. The wolf adapts. So we got to learn to be more adaptable. See, the moon teaches emotional honesty is survival intelligence. You get what I'm saying? The moon teaches that vulnerability is not weakness; it is attunement. Belonging begins within. See, that's why we gonna need this energy going forward so that illusion of inclusion can die, especially with the age of Aquarius and us being on the cusp of the age of Aquarius. So integrating this wolf moon energy, it's like we're working constantly with this moon, create quiet, even honor rest, nourishing your body, listen before acting, right? Acknowledge grief without fixing it. Don't try to fix every goddamn thing. Stop trying to, just cause you feel it don't mean it's need fixing. Okay. Reinforce emotional boundaries. This moon is not, about doing more. It's about feeling enough. Okay. And I ain't talking about feeling enough to where I'm tired of feeling. Nah, that means you've been feeling in your head a lot. Because that means that the energy is not yet past your nervous system. This is where memory comes into play. So this moon want to activate whatever memory need to be released, whatever things you have been dealing with, letting go of, or whatever the case may be. Hold on. I don't know what I just did right there. All right. So when we're dealing with this moon energy, let me get back down here. Um, where was I at? All right. Now, when we integrate this energy, working collectively with it, of course, acknowledging that grief without fixing it, and also when we're dealing with this emotional, this counts as the emotional foundation stone for 2026. But it really wants us to embrace more emotional intelligence. So it ensures that as the fire horse accelerates the world forward, humanity does not forget where it came from. We all came from a woman. All came from a mother. So we all should feel some shit, right? We don't forget what you need. Don't forget who it belongs to, right? Don't get so caught up in the social shit to where you start to take on all the problems of the world and shit. All right? Because family first. You get what I'm saying? Like a lot of times we get caught up in everybody else and they shit when our own family be suffering. And trust me, I know what that's like. So a lot of people have been called to. For I guarantee you, even I've been dealing with this energy. I got a Pisces South Node in Cancer. All right. So this full moon, I'm talking about because family ain't always blood. Okay. Like when you bring in the social energy of Capricorn, sometimes you got family from people who wasn't even your blood, right? And this can be things that are affecting people, even that are in your family, even of the mother or the matriarch side of the family. All right, like this is what's going on with this. So the moon reminds us that civilization without cure collapses. Now tell me we ain't been missing this shit. That's why we on the verge of collapse. A lot of people have lost their cure. But here comes this Cancer full moon. All right. And I promise you, you're gonna start seeing a lot more people cure. Just pay attention to what I'm telling you. Just watch and see how it plays out. You're not being asked to harden yourself because When you talking about that true strength begins with emotional coherence, you literally are not being asked to harden yourself for for the year ahead. Like a lot of people could feel like that. I guarantee you, I don't be honest with yourself, because even I have felt that energy, right? And shit been making me feel. If you've been feeling like you needed to be harder for this year, now I told y'all this the soft girl era. This the softness time, right? So if you've been feeling like that, just put a one in the chat, because this full moon gonna help you get out of it. Okay. You'll be asked to anchor yourself so you can move bravely, wisely, and together. Okay? Everything ain't always about you. All right? But you got to make sure that you don't lose you in the process. Okay? Now, emotional sovereignty and ancestral memory and survival intelligence and embodied security is also what this full moon opens up with this year, the Cancerian, which is a lunar power at its peak. All right? Now, think about it. Remember, I told you Cancer is ruled by the moon. Okay? So it's natural rulership over emotion, instinct, memory, biological survival. At the first full moon of the calendar year occurring within a 5 horse year, this acts as an emotional ignition point, awakening ancient instincts while asking for conscious stewardship of feeling. Right? Now, this is like not a passive moon. Once again, it's a furrow, ancestral, and truth telling moon, goddammit. So why it's called a full moon? Well, the wolf moon. Well, this is another aspect into it, and why it marked the time where the wolf howled outside the village loudly from hunger, but for communication, but also for pack cohesion, because it activates a lot of the instinctual communication, emotional truth that cannot stay silent. Right, that need for belonging without self betrayal. It's reclaiming one's emotional territory. That's what the fuck you howling for, right? So sometimes even our relationship with food can be a thing that we're dealing with on a relationship or emotional level, right? Emotional eating, all that kind of shit. You feel me? So in modern human consciousness, this manifests as a heightened emotional awareness, old family childhood memories resurfacing, a need to protect your inner space and your energy, a call to redefine home internally, right? Not you could be showing up externally, but it's an internal call going on now. All right. And within this axis, the emotional being versus material becoming. See, this is another when you looking at Capricorn, see, Cancer is I feel, and when you dealing with this full moon, it's just across from that sun is activating the fourth and the 10th house axis in everybody's chart. See, I just told you my north and my south node is in my fourth and my 10th house. So it's doing some more shit to my, it's I'm telling you, it's pushing me in my north node because it's making me feel some shit. I literally got like 3, 4 people that's close to me that's requiring some sense of service that's literally not about me producing any herbs or any solutions. It's just about me being present and allowing myself to feel some shit. You get what I'm saying? So, man, and I just got news that one of my partners just transitioned. So this was the one he was fighting cancer, and yeah, I just got the news he transitioned just now as I speak, like literally, man. That fourth house that I feel, that emotional foundation, that ancestral memory, that emotional intelligence, that inner child, that womb, that literal and symbolic, that home, that safety and belonging, that mitochondrial DNA that inherited through the maternal line, right? The metaphysical role of the mtDNA, right? That stores the emotional memory, right? This carries a lot of ancestral trauma and resilience too. All right, this encodes survival and these responses that we can have from how that shit is. It's like we can't control it, but we only can learn to manage it, right? Because influence is the intuition and the instinctual knowing. The full moon activates emotional memory stored in the body, not the mind. So you may feel emotions before you understand them. And see, Capricorn is I have the 10th house, the structure, the authority, the legacy. And this is like the bones, the teeth, the joints, the blood, the mineralization, the skeletal structure, the responsibility and authority, right? The material mastery and survival in the world, right? Where Cancer asks, do I feel safe enough to be myself? Capricorn asks, where have I built that proves my, whatever I built that proves my safety? You see what I'm saying? See, this full moon exposes where emotional security and external achievement are out of alignment. And I'm telling you, they've been out of alignment for a lot of us because we've been taught the latter when it comes to the material world, right? We've been taught that money is the root of all evil and we shouldn't be greedy. And, even when it comes to the cycles of life and death, somebody dies and we ain't got no $1 million policies on people. We just inherit debt and we got to do GoFundMe's a lot. And a lot of us probably got $25,000 insurance policies and not a big policy to where we can actually benefit if somebody does transition. You get what I'm saying? So this is a whole dynamic that is shifting when it comes to an ancestral aspect, and why you can see a lot of people literally starting to prepare more for death itself. All right, and the 6 month cycle is definitely being exceeded here. This is like the full moon initiates an emotional storyline that matures over the next 6 months, and it reaches a culmination during the full moon. The full moon, right, in Capricorn, while the sun is in Cancer. So that's going to be in the next 6 months. So what's being set now is emotional boundaries, family dynamics, okay, career home balance, inner authority versus external validation, nervous system regulation patterns. Whatever emotional truth service now would demand structural change by mid 2026. You get what I'm saying? Do that make sense to everybody? I want to make sure everybody got that. Who that don't make sense to? Let me ask that. Okay, good. Because the psychological and the metaphysical aspects is the emotional memory body activation, and the moon directly stimulates the limbic system, the hypothalamus, the vagus nerve, and the emotional recall stored in the tissue. You can have a lot of tissue. It's the fatty tissue and shit. Okay. So you may experience vivid dreams, emotional flashbacks without narrative, heightened empathy or emotional sensitivity, the urge to withdraw or protect your energy. Okay. This is not regression, it is an integration once again. And the way it's going to impact the nervous system is like when you're dealing with the root chakra, security and survival. Cancer seeks emotional safety. Capricorn seeks material stability. This regulation may show as anxiety, tension, and in the hips, the legs, and right in the financial sphere. The sacral governs the emotional flow. It governs feelings of intimacy, creativity. Old emotional patterns could release through tears, fatigue, or sensual awareness, right? And even in the heart chakra, the emotional boundaries, balancing curve for self versus others, learning to nurture without self abandonment, all right? Biological and the biochemical influences. Cancer domain is the stomach, the breast, the digestive enzymes, right? The hormonal rhythms, the water retention. You know how the body can store water? See, this is why one of the main reasons cancer is a water sign. All right. So these are the sciences behind these signs. Capricorn's domain is the bones, the joints, the calcium metabolism, right? How your body calcifies and maintains its calcium levels, the blood density, all right, the structural posture, right? So the spine and all that good stuff. The full moon highlights the mind, body, emotional triangle. Suppressed emotions may manifest physically. Emotional nourishment becomes essential for the physical vitality, right? Because a lot of the things that we can deal with on a physical level have manifest from an energy first. This is why, right? It don't happen overnight. It happens over time. Diabetes, heart disease, right? High blood pressure. All these things happen over time because of what? The things you've been feeding the gut. So this dysregulation of the energy and not being able to regulate even the discipline that comes with the things that we consume, right? Not just on a food level, but on the energetic level as well. All right. So when we're dealing with the impact of the fourth and the 10th house axis in the birth chart, regardless of any sign, of your sign, everybody got a Cancer and Capricorn axis somewhere in your chart. Okay. Now this full moon asks, where do you feel emotionally at home? Right? Where are you performing strength without emotional fulfillment? What responsibilities are inherited, not chosen? What emotional needs were postponed for survival? See, this is why this shit could have started when you were a child. Survival could have kicked in a long fucking time ago, right? Think about it. Just think. I ain't got to go that deep with y'all. Y'all already know what it is. We done already done. Damn near everybody in this goddamn college should have been doing. Already done a lot of forms of shadow work in their life. Okay. So the answers shape your next 6 months, though. Okay. Now, if you've been doing the work in those areas, then that means a lot of emotional fulfillment and wholeness of feelings of that for you. Now, how to work with this moon more consciously. Emotional regulation practices, slow breathing with extended exhales. Right? Always exhale longer than you inhale. All right. That's the proper way to breathe. Okay. So warm baths, right? It calms cancer energy. I know a lot of women, a lot of y'all love a good bath and chilling in some water is very cancerian. Right? Gentle stretching for the hips, the spine, the jaw. Right? Hand over heart grounding. So putting your hand over your heart, doing some grounding with that. Reflective prompts. What emotions am I ready to honor without judgment? What did I learn that my feelings? Where did I learn that my feelings were inconvenient? What structure will support my emotional truth? What does safety feel like in my body, not my mind? All right. Now, the evolutionary message for this is the full moon reminds you emotional intelligence is not weakness. Structure without feeling collapses. Feeling without structure dissolves. Cancer teaches you how to feel. Capricorn teaches you how to hold what you feel. All right. Together they evolve human consciousness from survival into sovereignty. Okay. Now, I got this up here for a reason. All right. When you look at this, everybody, this the image of that we have of the devil and what's been given to us. And it's like the master and the feminine principle bind it and all that good stuff there. So Capricorn, Saturn, and the devil. I had to touch on this, okay? The metaphysics and the structure of time and the power and the illusion of safety. Capricorn is not evil. Right? Saturn is not malicious. The devil card is not bad in tarot. Okay. But unchecked Saturn Sagittarian systems become prisons when consciousness forgets it has choice. I'm gonna say that one more time. Unchecked Sagittarian systems can become prisons when consciousness forgets it has choice. I didn't say people. I didn't say you. I said consciousness because at the core, beyond all the other bullshit that we done gathered with this body, you are consciousness and you have choice. Capricorn is an archetype of the architect of reality. Capricorn represents structure made visible. Metaphysically, Capricorn governs time, matter, gravity, law, hierarchy, responsibility, social order, achievement through endurance, right? Capricorn answers the questions what can exist long term? It's the sign of building reality, not imagining it. You feel me? Do we got any Capricorns in the goddamn building? Is anybody here a Capricorn? See, when you're dealing with Saturn and the Lord of Time, right? This limits the cube, right? Just like when you're dealing with the cube and how we box something in, because Saturn is Capricorn's ruling represents containment. Saturn's core function defines boundaries. It don't correct them. It measures time. It creates rules, establishes consequences, enforces cause and effect. That's why people say Saturn rules karma. It doesn't rule karma. It rules cause and effect. It enforces it. Saturn does not ask if you want limits. Saturn asks what kind. You feel what I'm saying? Do that make sense right there? I know that was a little. Listen, Saturn does not ask if you want limits. It asks what kind. So what your Saturn is in. Mine is in Virgo. That's what kind of limits. You see what I'm saying? If your Saturn is in Pisces, Aries, whatever the case may be, this can show what kind of limits your Saturn wants. Okay? Now, it's going to ask you, are you enforcing limits in the areas of where your Saturn is? This becomes the lessons of your life around Saturn. So the cube is Saturn's sacred geometry, right? So when we're dealing with the cube and Saturn symbol because it represents stability, performance, order, 90-degree angles, fixed space, predictability. See, you know how some people are predictable, go to work, go sleep, eat, fuck, shit, have a baby, get a home, retire. You get what I'm saying? Like go to school, just like you. We can describe the natural cycles of somebody's life, and all this other shit in between is what they feel. You see how I just gave you Capricorn and Cancer right there, right? See, every cube has six faces. It exists fully in three dimensions, right? It cannot roll freely like a sphere. The cube does not flow, it holds. Here is why, because architecture, cities, offices, prisons, corporate buildings, you feel what I'm saying? Calendars, clocks, structures, schedules are all Saturnian. They stabilize reality, but they also limit movement. You feel what I'm saying? See, the black ruling the color of Saturn and how black absorbs all light, also meaning all energy, because light is energy. Light equates to consciousness, right? So this is all a representation of the sun, and why when you dealing with metaphysically, black represents compression, gravity, containment, authority, right? Even power without expression. So wearing black at a funeral, what do you think you're absorbing? Wearing black around different people and environments, and then you walk away feeling more tired, right? A lot of Capricorns, Scorpios, people who kind of represent some of the dark, so-called dark archetypes of the zodiac, love black. Okay, a lot of earth signs love earth tones too, right? A lot of Capricorns gonna have some cheetah print. Virgos will too. A lot of earthy shit. You know what I'm saying? So when you dealing with Saturn, uses black not to destroy light, but to discipline it. You see what I'm saying? So, but when black dominates, creativity stagnates, hope dims, time feels heavy. You see how it deals with an emotion? Like how when it dominates the cancer shit and things can get black, you can feel like you got a black cloud around your ass. Capricorn, see, life becomes mechanical. And see, Capricorn and the devil card in tarot, dealing with the number 15, the devil card in astrology, astrologically, is linked to Capricorn. What the devil actually represents, if you pull this card, is like bondage through unconscious choice, comfort mistaken for safety, power giving away willingly, addiction to material stability, fear of change disguised as responsibility, right? You got to notice the chains on the devil card are loose, but the figures could leave, but they don't. It's why when I'll be always talking about that show Lucifer, when even when the essence of the devil saying, I didn't put you here, your choices or your guilt or your fear did. Right? The devil don't put you in hell. See, the devil does not trap you. You stay because it feels safer than the unknown. This is what happens with comfort zones as prisons because Saturn rewards consistency. But over time, the job becomes an identity. The role becomes a cage. The structure becomes self-worth. And then people work too hard, right, to get the house, the title, the pension, the retirement plan. You get what I'm saying? And then spend decades maintaining the system that now maintains them. You can't make this shit up. If I didn't just describe the cycles of fucking 65 to 85% of humanity, I don't know what I just did. Cause the whole thing is I built this for security and now I cannot leave. I'm staying in the house. I ain't going nowhere. And like in a lot of cases, that's the safest place to be, you know. But it's like, am I robbing myself of really some sense of security that I think is linked to my home? Right? And when you're dealing with, you know, the aspect of dead weight and inertia, right? The weight in Sagittarius system, Saturn governs mass and momentum. I want you to think about this. The heavier something becomes, the harder it is to move. Tell me I'm not lying. The more energy change it requires, right? So it's like when you're dealing with this, the more energy it's gonna take for you to change. When you start getting lazy and you not in the gym, man, you not walking every day, and these are just simple things. I ain't not even let alone the emotional stuff that you can. I don't know when I'm gonna get over that. I don't know when I'm gonna stop holding people hostage in my goddamn energy because I'm mad. Right? So this is how the system maintains control. Debt, routine, responsibility, overload, the fear of loss. Then we just witnessed a lot of that over the last 10 years, right? It's like that sunk cost of fallacy, right? It's like, if I don't get this, I ain't gonna have this. Oh, God. Okay. You want to drop me off? Yeah. So I'm gonna do this, and it's like the dead weight is not laziness, right? It's over identification with structures, right? And then you dealing with work, retirement, Saturn's age cycles because Saturn rules aging. All right, it rules. Saturn rules aging. Hold on, right quick. I know they want to call me, but okay. Can y'all see my screen still?
Yes.
All right. So Saturn rules aging, career milestones, authority phases, retirement, legacy. When you're dealing with Saturn's key cycles, right? You bringing in the age of 29, you entering the system, right? The age of 29 and 30, you entering the system. And then you dealing at 44 to 45, it deals with the opposition, the crisis of the meaning of your life, right? And then you deal with the second Saturn return from 58 to 60. This is like an exit or an entrenchment, so this is why a lot of people retire at 62, right? So a lot of modern systems mirror Saturn perfectly, right? Work hard when young, sacrifice joy for stability, retire when vitality is lower, enjoy freedom late or if at all. You get what I'm saying? So this isn't fate. It's Saturn without balance. Discipline without pleasure later. Discipline now, pleasure later. All right. So Saturn is like verse the sun. This is like the devil and the Christ archetypes. It's not literal theology, but it's symbolic psychology. The sun is the archetype of Leo, like the Christ, and it represents life, consciousness, love, creativity, presence, and spirit embodied, right? And the Saturn archetype dealing with the devil, time, fear, control, matter, survival, right? Or spirit constrained, right? This story isn't good versus evil. It's spirit versus fear, okay? Like literally. Like my granny house? Huh? My granny house. Okay. 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 Hold on. I'm almost through with my workshops. Jesus represents the truth and divine flow, right? And he represents the transcendence of fear, love beyond law. The devil represents fear of loss, right? Attachment to matter and safety over truth. So every human life reenacts this tension, right? The spiritual lesson of Capricorn, Capricorn is the test. Can you see structure without being owned by it? Right? Saturn asks, can you hold responsibility without self-erasure? Can you marry time without becoming a slave to it? Can you build something and still walk away? Right? So the high expression of Capricorn at its highest, Saturn becomes wisdom, structure becomes support, discipline becomes devotion, authority becomes integrity. See, the devil card transforms into the master builder, the elder, the wise architect, right? You don't destroy Saturn, you consciously wield it, all right? And the devil is not outside you. The prison is not imposed. Capricorn teaches freedom comes from knowing when to build and when to release. And Saturn, greatest initiation is this: nothing you build should cost you your soul. Okay. So may this wolf moon help you remember your emotions and ancient intelligence in your body, and remembers that your mind, what your mind forgets, safety begins inside before it manifests outside. You are allowed to feel and to build. Okay. So this is where I kind of start tapping into the rising signs. And then also you're going to have a breakdown for your moon sign and also for your midhaven, all right, your sun sign. And you also have a breakdown in here that'll be talking about your life path number as well. And of course, there's a ritual with the journal prompts as usual leading into the next new moon. All right, you're going to see the life path cycles and the things that you could be experiencing based off your life path number, my bad, based off your life path number. And then also will be also the ritual is in here as well, telling you what crystals and all that good things are good to use under this energy. All right. So I'm gonna stop my screen share. I appreciate that, y'all. You know, life, as you could tell, life keeps going. You know what I'm saying? Like life, death is a reminder to live, right? Grief is just another form of love, you know? So you won't grieve nothing that you weren't really connected to. Somebody's dying right now that I don't know nothing about. Somebody's experiencing death in their own reality. So death doesn't stay, it simply comes. Life is what is constant, right? So we got to choose life, even in the midst of us allowing ourselves to feel and knowing that other people are experiencing that heaviness of death and going through their own transition. So I know what to do on the spiritual side, right? Because I got some authority in that area, all right? So I appreciate you all. And remember, if you want to get the transit reading, make sure you book that. All right. And it'll be $99 if you want the personal transit reading. It will come with your own personal breakdown, personal ritual, all that good stuff. And I'll be talking about what's going on in your birth chart based off of the axis of Capricorn and Cancer. All right. And also this replay will be posted on my YouTube. So I appreciate you all for your time and energy. And also, if you did not get the PDF that I was just going over, make sure you inbox me or message me and I'll get it to you. So gratitude to you all, high vibration to you all, and may you all enjoy this full moon and let it initiate you. Namaste.